All right. So clearly with the Seven of Swords here, we're talking about things that are not on the up and up. There is the deceit that happens there, not being clear on intentions. Somebody who is not discussing, how they feel or what they think. And the way that you come into this, I think that a lot of you are having fantasies around a person here where, it's not realistic to think that they would want to be in a commitment. Now, that may be for some of you. For others of you, you're just dealing with a person who doesn't know what the hell they want. And they may be, showing that they're fine kind of like doing things on their own. But I think that a lot of you may have had, some fantasies and some thoughts around this person. But, again, it's not real and it's not something worth acting toward. But what's interesting is that with judgment on their side, I think that, they start to kind of review the relationship, how they feel about you, possibly. And with the Six of Wands, you see this as a victory. This is overcoming, these issues of the past. But the problem is we're talking about intentions still not being clear with the Seven of Swords here. And I think that shows itself with the High Priestess moving out of this. So where you think you may be overcoming obstacles with this person, for some of you, it's realizing that there are some things that may be being kept hidden. And that may be because this person really doesn't know in what direction they're going. And the reason why I say that is because of, the way that this kind of comes out in your overall here. So I think that with the Chariot, this is them kind of being pulled all over the place. I don't think that they are in control of themselves. And I think that you're seeing that with the High Priestess. And it makes you more aware of what may be going on behind the scenes with them, especially if they're not moving things forward with you. And I say that because of death. Because to me, the situation is over with and it won't go back to what it was. And there is nothing that they could possibly do to make you believe that they actually want to, take this relationship in a certain direction. It won't ever go back to that. They cannot fool you anymore, is what I want to say. Now, with the King of Pentacles coming out here, I always look at this as somebody who has the ability to make a relationship successful. And with the Hermit being there, Capricorn, I really feel like this is going to be about you, whether you're male or female, going into a place of, I have all these things established for myself. Do I really want to give anything to this? If this person does not do anything here to move this relationship along. And it makes me wonder, well, what is it that they're hiding? What is it that they, are not wanting to talk about in terms of what they're planning on doing? Where is the deception? And you find out about it though, but not in a way where it's like direct. It's because of their actions and the shit that they're doing that it like kind of comes out for you. And I do think that with the Hermit, we're going our separate ways. But I think that you're doing very, very deep consideration on whether or not this person deserves the best parts of you. That's how I want to put that. And then again, with the fucking Seven of Swords, here's what I want to say about this, Cap. And like I always say, this isn't going to be for everybody. You will know if I'm talking to you. I think that this person is realizing that they made the wrong judgment call from before. And here they're wanting to step up and take control. But then again, they move right back into this place where they don't know what the hell that they want to do. But I also think that, if they continue to try to put forth effort with you, all of whatever it is that they're trying to hide is going to be, revealed in a way where it's like, nope, it is definitely over with and things are not going to change. And there is nothing that they can do to kind of like take control of this situation again, because that's no good. And then the Six of Wands. And I think that for you, this is like bittersweet victory. I really do. But I also think that it is the kind of victory that's going to open you up to, overcoming this situation with this person, getting past this, want to know about this connection. Because I think a lot of you are focused on, well, I kind of know how things are going here, but I want to see if it's possible things will change. If that is your question in regards to this person, the answer is no. No, it's not going to. They are not going to correct their behavior, okay? But I'm looking at this and thinking, you know, this is an opportunity for you to move on, you know. But this is, I think, what you needed to have happen before you could let this go. Now, like I always say, none of this shit has to happen. None of this shit has to happen. You don't have to experience any of this. But I almost think that some of you need it in order to finally, like, wash this off of you for real. Now, with the star, that was the first thing that I felt, was that, you know, you're healing yourself, Cap. And it's like you're getting the ickiness of this person, like, off of you, you know, if that makes sense, right? And I really think that with Judgment here, it's, you know, it's definitely over with. This is not something that, you know, they can resurrect with you. I think that they try, but I don't think that you have false hope in this, because you're shutting off your emotions here with the King of Swords. And I really do believe that that's you, because this person may try to force the issue with you. And again, like trying to step up or take control of the relationship. But for you, it's like, you know, no, I see everything for what it is here. I'm thinking logically. I'm not letting my emotions dictate what I'm willing to give to you. I'm more worried about giving to myself. And there is a feeling of victory in that for you. You know, but they ultimately are getting caught in everything that they've been doing, you know. And I do feel like you're separating yourself from this, but you're also, you know, really taking in the experience here. And I think that this is it for a lot of you. I think this will be the last time that you want to know about this person, you know, for those of you who are resonating with that. And the Page of Wands, but I don't think that that's something that you can look past anymore, but we're going to clarify that before I say for sure here. But very clearly here, this is, you know, I don't necessarily feel like it's about the attraction that you have for this person. I think that this is about clearing this person out. Like, it very much has the feeling of the last reading where it's like, you need to get rid of this if you are going to attract a more romantic love in your life, right? Looking at attraction. So it's not necessarily about the attraction that you have for this person, but somebody here is wanting to fix things before it's too late. That is the Nine of Wands, right? Like, let me get in here and try to fix this situation before everything is like done and over with. But with the Two of Swords, it's like, nope, I'm not accepting that. You're not going to come in and try to fix things but not take accountability. Had it been the Five of Cups, I would have felt a little bit different about this. But really, Cap, I think you're in a place where it's like this is not something you want to let in. Now, you could flip this, though, too. You may be trying to fix things with somebody else, but I don't think that that's it. I think it's time to just let this relationship go, because I think with the Ten of Wands and the Seven of Swords, you know that it's not going to go anywhere. And I think that you're blocking, you know, other opportunities from coming through if you continue to put your focus on this. But granted, you know, this may be somebody who's continuously like, Cap, I don't want things to end. I don't want things to end. I think you're ready for it this time. And I look at Justice and I think, okay, you know, this is not just about making things right or this person trying really hard to make things right. I think it's about you needing to make decisions that are more fair and balanced for you, especially if you're in a place of, I get to be single now. I can attract to me whatever the fuck I want. And you certainly don't need somebody coming in who is not being accountable for what they've done. Like, that's what I feel like looking at this. Like, they're not taking accountability. They just want to, you know, let's just fix this and forget it, Cap. Don't think about it anymore. But you're like, no. Now, what I worry about here with the Page of Wands is this is about looking past appearances and getting caught up in the passion. Is this the right thing for you to do, right? Is it right for you to let this go, look past it, and move on with this person? Or is this something that you can't look past? That is what I want to clarify here coming out. Yeah, and then the Nine of Swords. I think you make an attempt, but I think that, you know, it's not... You're not going to be able to look past this situation forever. Now, with the Two of Cups, there's definitely the connection there, right? You want to have a relationship with this person. You know, it's easy to say, especially if this is somebody that you've been dealing with for a while, it's easy for someone on the outside looking at this to say to you, Cap, just get this the fuck out of your life, right? But if you have a connection with them, it may not be that easy. You know, there may still be love there for this person, but I don't like the High Priestess, because that to me is saying that the truth is not completely out. There are still secrets that are being kept. And I think that you're aware of this, but I don't think that they have a clue that you know. Like, I think that they think you're clueless as to, you know, what is going on with them. But they just like, I feel like you're dealing with somebody who wants to sweep everything underneath the rug. Just forget about it, Cap, you know? But you're like, no, I know what's going on. But you still have feelings for this person. And you may, you know, end up having a hookup here, but is the relationship going to go anywhere? I mean, with that 10 of Wands and the 7 of Swords, it's doubtful. You know, but I think that there is an attempt. But like I said, with the 9 of Swords, your thoughts about what you know may ultimately, you know, determine whether or not you continue to do this. And it looks like, you know, you're in a place where those negative thoughts just are not that easy to let go of. Like, you know, you can't hide the fact that you know something else here, you know, as far as what they have done and what they're not holding themselves accountable for. You know, they could definitely make everything right here by just revealing all. But the thing is your emotions for them may be, you know, clouding your own judgment here. But it's something that you will have to face later on. And, you know, like I said, it's easy for me to look at this and go with attraction. You need to have, you know, better moments. And then the 5 of Swords. This person is not making you feel good. And it makes me wonder, you know, why you're being told to stay optimistic about this. You know, that, or it could be your partner. They feel inadequate and maybe they're like shutting themselves off emotionally. But I don't like this combination coming out. You coming into this with the 10 of Pentacles. This is somebody that you've been with for a while. And I think that there is a lot of passion and drive for them. But I also think that the Emperor is kind of signaling their personality in that they may be a very active person when it comes to their passions, okay? And you may be looking at yourself like, why am I getting involved with this person? You know, is this really who I want to be? You know, I always talk about the self-reflection with the 10 of Pentacles. But I do look at this as, you know, a relationship that has been, you know, pretty good up to this point, I think. But because of the 10 of Swords and looking at the Queen of Pentacles, I think that their actions may have, you know, created a pretty bad situation. I think that for some of you, you may actually be on the outs with this person. And with the Queen of Pentacles, I think that, you know, for you, definitely you may be in a place here where it's like, I have to learn how to fulfill my own needs now. But it's not a happy thing, not with the 10 of Swords, right? Because the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is able to take care of herself. But that's out of a very painful ending. Now, like I said, coming out here with the King of Swords and 5 of Swords, this is either somebody who is making you feel inadequate or they feel that way. And because of it, they're shutting off their emotions. And it's almost like, you know, I think that I don't know. Do I want to say that they feel bad that there was a painful ending? Maybe. But they're certainly not showing it, though. You know how sometimes people can get like that. It's like instead of dealing with the feelings of inadequacy, if they continue to act this way, I think, Cap, this can no longer hold up. It's not a happy situation anymore. The 10 of Cups is always about, let me slow down here. For fuck's sakes. Let me take a drink of coffee. And I feel like a lot of you guys are in this place now where you're wanting to talk about this. I don't think that you're happy, Cap. I don't think that you are happy. And I think that instead of losing faith when it comes to your love life, I think that you need to stay optimistic, even if this is a relationship that is going to come to an end. Okay, and it very much like the other reading for the singles, right? Like, I feel like you need to stay in a good place when it comes to your love life, even if things are really fucking shitty right now. Because I feel like there is the potential for better things to happen, but you need to get something or someone out of your life. The 3 of Swords, this is definitely a situation where The person that you're dealing with, their actions have put them in a bad position, and they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and they need to get out of that situation, right? And that may have been a past issue between the two of you. It may have been a good relationship up until that point, though, looking at the Ten of Pentacles, but you're looking at yourself now going, do I really want to be here? Is this really who I am? Do you really want to be in a place where, you know, you're needing to learn how to take care of yourself because this person did this, you know? We're still talking about a painful ending here, and the relationship is going sour, right? That is the Page of Pentacles. There's the bitterness that's there. And if you make an attempt with this person to try to make things better, they are completely shut off emotionally, and I think it's you that's stepping out this time. I think that they're just, you know, oblivious, like they're not even paying attention. And I don't necessarily think that it's because they think everything is okay. They may, but I don't think happiness is a factor to the King of Swords in this situation. You know, again, whether you're dealing with male or female, doesn't matter here. But there are feelings of inadequacy, and oh my God, inadequacy that I think is being taken out on another person. And that may be the breaking point for you, where it's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not happy about this. Cap, you know, again, their general message is if you're happy in your relationship, you don't need a message, right? Go be happy. But I really think that, and I'm looking at these more specifically than your situation, there is a reason why you're being told to stay in a positive place about your love life. I think something better is coming to you once this has been cleared out of your system.